I don't know if any people remember, but when you were in Chutz La'aretz, right? Anybody out there that wasn't in Chutz La'aretz? Chutz La'aretz, so you take like a kiddush, you make kiddush on the second day. When you say kiddush the second day, you make a shechiyanu. None of this business like we have over here by Rosh Hashanah of needing a new fruit, right? And people, I don't know if people remember that. And why is that so? That's because so we make a bracha ki'ilu. That's the first day. On Daled Minim, does anybody remember? You make a shechiyah on the second day.
Yep. It's the first time.
No.
If the Chutz La'aretz, when you have the second day of Yom Tov Sheni Shagalis, do you say shechiyah? No. Why not?
No.
Why not? You make shechiyah by kiddush the second night. Why shouldn't you make a shechiyah on the Daled Minim? That's the question. And there's an answer to the question.
Same Daled Minim.
I don't understand. What do you say?
It's the same Daled Minim. I mean, you've already said you already said you say Shechayanu on this Daled Minim.
I said shechiyah on Daled Minim. I also said shechiyah on the Yom Tov yesterday. What's the difference? Why Daled Minim? Do I say that it's enough to shechiyah of yesterday, and on the sukkah, or on the kiddush, the Yom Tov, I don't say it's enough yesterday. That's the question.
Every day has its own korban.
We should say every day.
So it's a different Yom Tov.
So, and as far as Daled Minim,
Okay, like he said, it's the same Daled Minim every day. It's the same exact mitzvah you're doing. No change.
okay, all right. We'll leave this question, and we're going to learn a lot of things today. And I think that the answer will be quite surprising that we come up with at the end. That's what I think. But we'll just leave it right now as a question. Okay. Yivarach al Tilas Lulav v'Shachiyanu. We're in Reik Tov Reish Nun Aleph Sif Dalet. Kaidem She'ita La'esed Kidei She'yivarach Ayva La'asiyasa. You make the brachas before you are Mekayim the mitzvah, such to be Ayva La'asiyasa. Oh, Yahapacha Esed Ad She'yivarach. You turn the Esed over before you make your bracha. Okay, and that we learned today that it's the ikuba that has to be techitulon, that they should be turned upside down. You're not yotza. The Yivarach Ma'oman. Tov Reish Nun Aleph Sif Hey. The Yivarach Ma'oman. And you have to make a bracha standing. The Yivarach Rav Tam Achas B'Yom, and you only make a bracha once a day. Alabisha Noikloi Tam Apamim, even though you took it many times. You wear tzitzis many times in the day. You make a bracha every time. You wear your tefillin. Every time you do it, you make a new bracha. I actually saw in the index of a sefer, a Tshuva sefer, a fascinating question. What's the halacha if a person became a oinen, lo aleinu, in the middle of the day? I actually had this last week. A person became an ayman in the middle of the day, and then the person with the nifta was buried that day. You have to make new brachas Torah. And you all want to try to answer that question? You don't think he has to? Why not? It's awesome. It's not up to him.
It's the dinam of aninus.
That's not limud Torah. That's not limud Torah.
Someone goes in the bathroom, do they have to make a new bracha? That's what they're learning there.
Can I ask you a question? Do I have to answer that question? Do you think that those two are comparable?
There is a tzad shava there.
So I will just tell you the simple answer to the question. I will just mention that it's not the subject of the shiur, but to be aware of it. Why is it that a person, if he goes to work in the middle of the day, doesn't have to make a new bracha when he comes back? So the Rishonim asked this question, and they tried to say the reason why is because you're mechuyev the whole time to be learning. You have a tour to be doing something else. This is a question machlokes Rishonim. It's a fascinating subject. When do you say that doing something else is a hesach hadas, and when do you say it's not? Well, that's not our subject for today. It's all going to be relevant. It's going to filter out to what we're learning today at the end. Anyways. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Kodim Shikol Esher. Mitam de'en levorach kodim she'et lenon Lulav. V'lo mistav levorach v'oid shalulav munach v'kli. Doesn't make sense. You should make a bracha on the Lulav when it's in the kli. V'chein en levorach ha'achar shenochu kol ha'arba minim. Should make a bracha after you already took them all, because the Inan over last yasa. No kach levorach kodim shenochu la'esrig. Before he picks up the esrig, the zehu over last yason. Shem Akin Zeh, the Dal Minim Ma'akiv each other. The Hainu Chosro Echad Ezem Amin Amin and Kuliyam Layat Helgas Mikri Ivalas Yasan because of that. When you put your talis on in the morning, when do you make a bracha? When it's still in the bag? When you're holding it over your shoulders, the back. Otherwise it's over the over. It's called over the over, and that's no good. So over here, it's a little bit of a chiddush that even though the esrog's on the table, but since you're about to go pick it up, that's a proper time to it. Oh, you have to esrog. The okitz l'maylo. The eno yoytzim esed and the eno dechti. The also like we said before. Ra'achar bracha you have to okitz l'mata kedechti. Also the yoytzim esed. Why do they say? He said yesh oid eitzah. Who should kodim asiya the kodim asay some the hainu shechaben shaloi latzes b'mitzvah kedei sheyita kulam b'yadai. You have in mind you don't have the yates until you have them all in your hand, and therefore it's over asiyasam because this is what's called kavana lahepach. Kavana lahepach works, and that's a fascinating question. And I'll just tell you, look in the Tzela Chochma, if I'm not mistaken, he discusses, he asked the question over here, which is a brain teaser question. And he said, when I was little, they would say anybody who answers this question gets a nickel. And then this is a hard question. It's worth much more than a nickel, a question. He asked, why isn't it Tasav Leiman also? You put tzitzis on your baguette. We hold the only chayav to wear tzitzis when you wear the baguette, right? Why isn't it tasav b'leiman also? This is not my question. You're not mechuyev on anything.
You're doing it when you're wearing it?
No. You never made tzitzis?
Yeah.
Are they mechuyev in tzitzis?
Only when you wear it.
So why isn't it tasav b'leiman also?
You're supposed to wear a beged mitzvah.
Why now isn't it tasav b'leiman also?
When I put it on?
No, when I made the tzitzis, it should be illicit tzitzis making. Because it wasn't mechuyev in tzitzis when I made it.
Well, you're supposed to put it on first and then make tzitzis, you're over then. You can't do it that way.
No, you are not over. Not true.
If you put it on without tzitzis,
And you make tzitzis right away, you're not over.
how much time do you have till you're not over?
The amount of time that it takes to make tzitzis. That's exactly what the classical case is. Put them on, make the tzitzis. That's what you should be doing. This is a good question. The answer that I'd like to share with you, there are a few answers to the question, but the answer that I'd like to share with you is that those that say that's only a problem with Tasi Levin Asi if there's something that has to be done to the baggage, to the item to make it not problematic. What about a different question? I'll just use this as an example because I think this is where the point gets driven home. Is there any problem with making tzitzis at night? Can you be tzitzis at night? So why isn't it Tasi Levin Asi? None of these questions are mine. Anybody want to answer that question? That's like a difficult question.
What's the question?
Are you allowed to make tzitzis at night?
Yes.
Most places can say allowed to make tzitzis at night. Question is, why isn't that Tasa Levin Asi? You're not allowed to do it if you still have to have another factor come into play in order to be Yitzhak.
You're going to wait the next morning.
But now it's nighttime. You can't be Yitzhak at night. But right now you're in a non-chiyuv zone, and tomorrow morning is going to be a chiyuv zone. Are you allowed to make it tzitzis in a non-chiyuv zone?
You're saying if I build my sukkah today, when I go in on sukkahs, it's Tasa Malom Asui?
I asked you a question, and maybe
I'm
we'll
just
discuss
trying
it.
to figure out how it goes together there.
So it could be, and maybe we have an answer for each case. So the answer that's given is based on a prima garden. The answer that's given, in order for something to be a problem with Tasa Malom Asui, it has to be something wrong with the item. Not that there's something external which inhibits you from being able to be the kind of mitzvah. In other words, I'm making tzitzis at night. There's nothing wrong with my making of tzitzis. It happens to be that there's an external factor called night that's impinging upon my ability to be a Makai of the mitzvah. But there's nothing wrong with the thing itself. Tasa also means you have to do something to the item. Just to confuse you, so there's a question which is asked, what about if I put up a mezuzah before I live in the house? Is that problem with Tasa Levin also? All right. Let's see.
Does that apply to mezuzah at all?
Does what apply?
Tasa Malom Asui, does it apply to mezuzah?
100%.
What, is a pasuk there? Is Tasa?
There's not only that, Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva. I don't know if you remember, but you used to live in Chutz La'aretz, and you lived in Chutz La'aretz, and halacha is the first 30 days, you're not mechuyev mezuzah. So Moshe has a tshuva if you're allowed to put the mezuzah up beforehand, or if you have to take it down for 30 days and you put it up. Because you're not mechuyev mezuzah. All right. Anyways, the minhag in Klal Yisrael, and it's not for naught as far as I'm concerned, is a person who has a dira that's finished, as I say in Ivrit, but he's not moving in arachrei chagim. Is he mechuyev mezuzah? No, it's not living there. Can he put up a mezuzah? Tasha's no. He's not living.
Yes, he can.
He can? Why can he put up a mezuzah?
Because it's the chefza. The chefza needs a mezuzah up there.
It's not a chefza.
The chefza, it's a house. He's not in there yet, but he will be in there.
The two statements that you just said recite each other. If it's a house, he doesn't have to move in. And if he has to move in, it's not a house.
Whenever he moves in, then...
So when he moves in.
No, but he can put the mezuzah before.
Why?
Because the house is right to move in.
Then he doesn't have to move in
Because he decided not to go in now. It's still ready to move in. There's nothing missing in the house. If someone put up a door and then built the walls around it, that might be a different issue.
It is a different thing to throw where it's considered our home, but what's right, it's not considered anything.
It's never your home until you move in. All right. Let's leave it. I'm not going to learn all of Tassim and Ossis of Kol Terakula, but according to most poskim, you cannot put in a mezuzah beforehand. The Chidush, which I found, which I seems to me so far have a strong disagreement with the Chaim Kanevsky, is about a mica. He says a mica you have a chiyuv beforehand, and a mezuzah you only have a chiyuv when you move in. So the way that he comes to that conclusion, I don't see eye to eye with him on that issue. But anyways, let's go right there. Says the Mishnah Berurah, you have in mind not to be yaitza, so then when you have in mind to be yaitza, it's not a problem, and it's not a tassim on the asi because there's nothing lacking. It's just your brain has to be switched on or switched off. Okay, that's the answer. No, now, if I just said that before, you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. Right now, I think it's clear. If you got to make a bracha before you took that little bit, you can still make a bracha while you're holding it. Even the nanuim is part of the mitzvah, so you're still in the ballpark and you can make a bracha. Let's see the sharetz here. This is a fascinating sharetz here. If you already did the nanuim, even though you're still holding them, you have to shyness, you can't make a bracha. After the kaimeron, you can make a bracha later. You can make a bracha afterwards. But according to him, after you're finished, you can't make a bracha on your dalamina. Now this, that I see, there's a kash on this from a Mavur Gemara. Yeah. So unless you'll say, just for those who didn't benefit hearing what was said behind that mask, is that the Gemara says, we went to Beis HaKnesses, we went to Lulav, and it sounds like that it's still a chelik of the mitzvah. Not only that, Taisus, that Lamed Vav, seems to say that you could make a bracha. So you could be Taisus say that it's talked about before the Nanum, but Pashtus, as long as you're holding it, seems to me that most of us can hold that you would be able to make a bracha. All right. Then it also Gam came umid, you should shake it standing. Then you're okay. You can take the hidden mitzvah k'minigan Yushalayim. It's a hidden mitzvah to do like Anti Yushalayim, and here he seems to say even when you ready to put it down. Okay, you hear? Speaking to you. Even though you're ready to put it down, it's still a hidden mitzvah to take it again. All right. When do we make a bracha on our sukkah? Shachianu.
Kiddush.
When should we make a shachianu?
First night.
When we build it.
First night we're in the sukkah.
First night in the sukkah, that's when we may do it, correct. But when should we make a shachianu?
When we build it.
When you made it. You know, where this mako, or I don't know when it's mako, I don't want to call it exactly, but we wait to make the shachianu until we have a yeshiva. But Medina, you can make the shachianu right away. And that's why there's a whole issue about a person who's not eating in his own sukkah on the first night. What does he do about the shachianu on his sukkah? But we're not learning those halachos right now, so we're not going to get involved.
Is there a bracha on building the sukkah?
No.
So what are we doing the shachianu on?
And they made a hachsher mitzvah.
So when we make tzitzis, we make a bracha?
No.
Hechsher mitzvah, no?
Yeah. I think you asked a good question. You asked a good question, but it's not an answer because you have another question. Let's see over here. What does the Mishnah Berurah says? Chavtes. Where is it? Ela b'shas l'tiyasa. Avagav v'min hadin. Hayu roi levorach shechianu taketh b'shas asiyos. Halolo. You should really make a shechianu when you made it. We wait until the Shas Netila. Because of the Loi Birach Shechianu B'Yom Rishon, Yachol Avarach Afilu B'Yom Zayin, Kishenot Al Halula. This is going to be that's a whole problem that wow will hear. So what does it say over here? That making a lulav deserves a shachianu.
What mitzvah is the making the lulav?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, your esrog is not involved in it.
That's an interesting question. I don't have an answer to that question. I don't have an answer to that question. And not only that, I would have never occurred to me that question, but now that you ask it, your question is even stronger. We hold that it ain't tzarech again. It's only a mitzvah. It's not a chiyuv. So how could it be that you have such a bracha? But the answer is, when you put it together, that you're making it. You're making the mitzvah. And this we have a few mitzvahs that are like this. That the setup, the hechsher mitzvah, is gets a bracha to it. Now, it's making a sukkah is considered, it's not a mitzvah. It's a hechsher mitzvah, and it's like a mitzvah, just like shchita. But that's the halach over here. So the Meiser Rakeach says the reason why in Chutz La'aretz you don't make a bracha on the second day on your lulav and esrog is because shaking it on the first day is equivalent to binding it, and even though that's not what I'm minhag to make a bracha is, but it's chal v'shachiyanu amid al-minim then. So there's no reason to make it. Again. That's what he says.
So
Now,
if I shake it on Erev Yantif, does it take away my shechianu?
You can shake it on Matzah Yantif the same way. You also see you shaking it on Erev Yantif.
Well, for Chutz La'aretz, it's Erev Yantif, no?
When you make egged, you always make it on Erev Yantif. When you build your sukkah, you always do it on Erev Yantif. You're not allowed to do it on Shabbos or Yantif.
Right.
Making the clear the mitzvah, making the hechsher mitzvah. That's what you make a bracha.
I'm just talking about the shechianu. You said because he shook it on the first day, you don't make shechir on the second day.
Making it on the first day is equivalent to making an egged. If you would shook it on Erev Yantif, you can make a bracha then also, because it's like making a bracha on the egged.
Right.
If you're kind of mitzvah, you're not kind. Not because you're kind of mitzvah.
Not mekayim mitzvah. Is it take away my shechianu? That's what's the question.
Take away your shechianu?
As you said, the first day in Chutz La'aretz takes away the shechianu from the second day.
I didn't say it takes away. I said if you made one, then it can work. It isn't taking away. Taking away means you can't make one afterwards. So
it's as if you forgot the shechianu the first couple of days, you could make it on the third day, something like that.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what we're about to see. No, there's two different things. One is if you missed it, like your new fruit, if you didn't make a shechianu, you missed it. You lost out. I don't know what you call it, but you didn't make it, but it's not a new fruit anymore to make. And sometimes you can even make it later on. Right? That's what we're going to see right now. So we have whoa, okay. A steer ripped. 1 second, we're going to compare our lives over here.
see your face and
You don't see my face in the mother too. Okay.
Was that a hechsher mitzvah?
I don't know what it was, but it's fine. You want to know if that's makalkal or masakin? That's what you want to know in Shabbos, right? I don't know. We'll have to take a vote on that. What did I do? They upgrade or downgrade the mask. Anyways, okay. Im asa beis yad v'nasa bolulov noito shapadam. If you put it into some kind of a basket, that's also good. The otika did avracha shmelekicha. Taking with something else is called otika as long as it's something that's lechoiday. We watch it double cover. Our made of that cover. If you don't nasa lulav the kli, then not loy yatsa. You just put their stump thing, you're not yatsa. And kol halal suda v'not loy. Or shekal suda al yada v'not loy. You wrapped a handkerchief around it and you took it like that. Yesh amadala yatsa. Why? Because that's Aidedacha. The minig is to remove rings or tefillin from your hands. B'shas when you're taking the dollar bill. Al midina and the hush. Oh, the enkol yad miskasabehem. You're touching it in other places, so it's insignificant. The chatzitza. In other words, you're holding it enough in other places that you're not holding it over there, it doesn't disqualify. Okay. Ela b'shas nitilas beis yad. Kigon shenot lulav chutz miyadai v'oiches beis yad haboilet v'naseh min asura. You have like a handle. Lo yavi chatzitza kiven shen oiches lulav miyadai v'das al yirav v'hu the beis yad hu l'na'oisai. If the beis yad is there in order to make it look nicer, okay, af oiches lulav miyadai. Because anything which is lost is not a chatzitza. It depends how you made it, if it's becoming or not becoming. The clean it's not derech covered when you take it in a kli when it's laying down in a kli. The kli yesh lahachmer b'chol egin. Bein oichsoi b'defnei kli or miniach v'yadoi tachashulav. Whether you're holding it from underneath or from the sides, oiches b'esyat shel kli. In all those cases, is no good. Olav tzudeh mitam chatzitza v'das haran mishum dehave dekicha delehave kicha tama. It's not called the kicha tama, but you cannot have a chatzitza. There are those who discuss water. If the lulav is wet, that there could be a problem. There's a tshuva, wherever Moshe Halberstam, he has a tshuva in his sefer, from which way he comes out. This is a chasidish shayla. Okay, so all the Litvaks you can get off. You don't have to listen now. But the chassidim who go to the mikveh before davening, if they have water in their hair, why isn't there a chatzitza between the tefillin and their head? Parents, you're a local Chabadska. What do you have to say?
I would be more worried that it's going to damage the tefillin.
Yeah. Okay. I'm wearing your tefillin. I'm not worried about it. So he has a long tshuva. I can't remember how he wiggles his way out of it to be matrin. But there are those that Mudei Or and others that they're really concerned that it should be a chatzitza. Okay. I don't know that even those who are machmer, what do they say about a person who's sweating? If that was while you're wearing the tefillin, it creates itself. Yeah. Okay. Why did Moshe but the Yadayim by Yoda? But Moshe goes to Mechaber didn't say B'Lashon Yeshayim. He says as Yeshayim Ki'ilu there's a Machoikis Mishum Das Harav the Sfirla Ediyatza the bottle of Gabi al Yad. It becomes bottle to the head. Our the Karach Surah al Lulav, if you had not wearing gloves, but you actually tied something to the Lulav, around the room, Yamdas Harava Yotza Deroy Havi Kichatamo. Okay, you're not like Yachzer Yitlana Bracha. If you took it, you take it over again. The Noru Kosu Vishem Marikasa Shemor Kira this Sukkah al Lulav Achach Yase Shah Hananu Metzak Neses. This is the minhag of all the Chassidim that do this. They make a bracha on the Talmidim at home before they go to shul. They shul to take it out without a bracha. With the Litvaks, they all do it in shul. All right. And nowadays became, I know my father-in-law, he should be well, he's very complaining about the mixed generation, the people who take it in shul go to the sukkah in the middle. Yeah, but that's the Yekisha problem. All right. Anyways, says the Bir Halach the Sharitzir. That's your time. Kadei Shaloi Yeshois HaMitzvah. He doesn't want to be shoya, to tarry with the mitzvah. Sheniyat Shekam and Shenosa Besuka taking the Kai Mitzvah to Tilas Lulav. As soon as you wake up, you should take it. Okay? That's what should be done. All right. You know, I can never say with 100% accuracy, but sounds off. It sounds off. But he used to go on Cholamoy with his rule. That I do know. He used to go by Muslim. All right. Anyway. Dalit. Oh, no. L'haser, v'haino she'kaple achor yatzvah, v'yesham she'yechlot tefillin l'damrik, tefillin tilas lulav, you should take off your tefillin altogether. You shouldn't just unwrap your hand. Al v'dina n'achor she'kam achor yikosu, da'af v'dina yesh kpein al zeh, mishum chatzitza. Many achorim said it's a problem because of chatzitza. Av she'ein kol hayad miskasa behem, even though the whole head isn't covered up by them, it's still a problem if you have some places that have a chatzitza. Okay. In not the so it's very common that women are wearing rings, and they do this, and it's a problem. Now I would just say I have a question that I don't have an answer to. Let's say, for argument's sake, that this is a lulav, an esrog. And I'm wearing a ring on my finger over here. And I take it like this. Do I have a problem? Why? The ring isn't interrupting the natila. If I have over here where my fingers are, so why are we so certain, or are we certain? We're concerned about a person who has rings on. All they have to do is hold it fingertips.
If someone has a chatzitza in their mouth when they go to the mikveh, is it a chatzitza?
What is it? What is the relevance of that question to us?
It has to be right. It has to be right to touch it, even if it's not touching it.
What about if I have a band-aid on my back? Can I take my dalamina?
You have to hold it with your back? You have to hold it with your hands. You have to hold it with your hands.
I have to. We already learned. I can take it other places. I'll be yaitzer.
So the whole body? Well, people.
I don't know. I'm asking you. That's a question.
I don't know.
If the guy's laying down and someone puts it on his belly, if you can be yaitzer, that's what the kicha they say. It's not. But I'm just asking a question, theoretical question. So I would just say that there's some briskerov, based on a briskerov, that when a person has a chatzitza, it's chaytitz everywhere. It doesn't have to be. It's chaytitz everywhere. That's called that the you and the thing, I have an interruption. Whether it's in that spot or not in that spot, that doesn't really make such a difference. I don't know, but I don't really know the answer to the question. I think the question is better than my answer. Again, if the person is holding it like this, I didn't know that they are halacha. Okay. I'm gonna stop over here because I have to go out for my. Okay. Have a good yontif.
Good yantif, good yantif.
Good yontif. Nice to see you, Ellie.